ish.
Yeah, I felt good to
Something.
see. Yeah, I felt good to see. I
We'll
thought
see
we'd
what
see more
happens.
red. Yeah, it's been a mess.
Um, yeah, not a crazy amount going on in the market. Maybe it'll be a quicker one today. Maybe maybe we'll get some stuff from the crowd. Who knows? Never really know.
Yeah, we'll run through the usual and maybe just touch on different markets and how they're looking and go from there. There's so much uncertainty now that, it's hard to really determine what to do, and there's not much fresh happening right now other than a couple of mints and NFTs kind of heating up a little bit. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we can get right into it.
Sure, let's do it. GM everybody, welcome to Wake and Jake. A bit of an odd week, but we're here again, vibing and bringing what we can to the community. Jake, good morning. How are you, bro?
Good, good. GM. Um, yeah, I thought we were gonna have a better. We were looking good last week. Pretty unfortunate. We were
We're
basically down only since then. Um, it seemed like the tides were turning a bit. We were getting some nice strength. Um, it seemed like the tariff stuff was gonna go away. I think was the biggest thing. It's what's everything's been hanging on lately, and then just more fresh tariff talk. It just never stops. Leading us to go even further down. Now there's like talks about tariffs on Russian oil, and I think he said we're just going to tariff everyone if they tariff us, and um, I don't know. It doesn't. It's basically markets like, all right, if this is going to keep happening, and we're just going to keep dumping. There's too much uncertainty going on. Markets hate that. I feel like something's got to give eventually here with Trump, and he'll have to swallow some type of pride to like get favorability back. But I don't know. I don't know exactly when that's gonna happen. Um, in the meantime, we're getting more chop, plenty of pain. Unfortunately, Bitcoin down 5% on the week, ETH down 11%, Sol down 11% as well. Pretty much every alt is down quite a bit um, on the week here, despite the morning bump that we've had. Slight bump, I would say. To start off the monthly here. Yeah, it's I don't honestly don't have a lot. I haven't seen many takes from the normal people that I follow in terms of the market. There's Web3 Quant was the most recent one, and he took a scalp long, like basically at the bottom today. So that was a really good call on his part. It was like basically under 82K, and we're at like 83.6 right now. But I think that's kind of just like a small, long for a day or two, and then in general, he seems like it just seems like a lot of uncertainty. I'm not seeing like a lot of strong opinions either way, um, which is not a fun market to trade when there's not much conviction in where we're gonna go. It seems largely like same game plan, honestly, that what we've talked about in the past, where it's a good time to learn stuff, which I've been trying to do more. To dive in, do more research on various places. And then also, it's a great time to farm, which we obviously talked about a bunch. We can talk about more too. Um, just when there's less market participants and less, trading real trading opportunities. It's a good time to put your time into different things. Low capital, and it can reap the rewards when the market does return to a better spot. So yeah, I wish I had more in regards to macro stuff, but there's just really not much that's changed.
And then you have Trump saying, "I think a third term is possible." I don't think people reacted very well to that either. So like,
No.
oh shit, wait a second, he's trying to be a dictator? Oh my god. Things are happening, bro. Things are happening, but it's not the right things. We keep being patient and waiting for it to settle down, and maybe have more clarity on what's happening, but it just seems like every week is just more uncertainty and more like back and forth on yes we're tariffing, no we're not, and then just keep pushing it and strong arming other countries and more uncertainty around the world. I'm the one who always brings this up, but uncertainty around the world is never good. Like every day since I watch a lot of news from around the world, like different media that we don't see here in North America unless you're watching foreign country news, and you're seeing millions of people around the world stand up against their government and stuff, and all this we don't feel it as much because obviously we're more America focused and that's what's gonna control the markets the most. But I mean, all this kind of shows the direction the world is going in, and it's not pretty right now. You know, there's a lot of people standing up against their governments, trying to get re-elected governments. Like in Turkey, 2 million people are protesting now for days and days and days because of their turmoil over there. It's every single country is having some issue with government, and we're going through a really unstable period in the world, and it does not help markets. I know that in the end, even if all that's happening and USA is just stable, that'll be fine for us, but it shouldn't go unnoticed that all this is happening because it does affect it, especially when USA is unstable and the rest of the world is unstable. I feel like it does affect markets even more. But once we find stability here with our government and our politics and everything on our side of the world, I think we'll be fine because that's what controls most of the money. But yeah, just putting that out there that there's a lot of turmoil right now around the world and it's causing issues. Like it's piling onto the issues that we already have. But yeah, I mean, it's a wait and see game. It's staying busy with farms if you can, like we said last week, or buying Pokemon and flipping those if you can get your hands on them. I mean, there's so much to do still. It just won't be directly tied to crypto markets all the time. But that's one of their strengths here in NVHQ is that we do a lot of different things, and every time there is an opportunity, even if it just doesn't touch markets directly, we're still in them. So just stay active and stick around, keep an eye on the markets. That way you'll be ready for when things pop off again. You can DCA also. That's always a good plan. I know people that are every day they're putting a few bucks into crypto, whether it be Bitcoin or whatever they feel like is gonna have a good future. And whether it's at 80K or 90K or 70K, they don't care. They just keep buying. So I think there's things you can do that are more hands off to keep yourself involved and still profit in the long term. And that's more what you should be focused on because we see it like even shit coins. If you're good at it and you flip quick, you can make money. But most people are just getting wrecked out there. If you're trying to have conviction and play a bounce, you're just gonna catch a falling knife. I mean, there's just so much that's going wrong right now for people that are trying to have convictions. So you have to be way more specific in your movements, and you have to be more like think longer term. I think right now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's certainly like kind of prepare when the market gets good again. Do those kind of clean up quality of life um action stuff. I mean, like we already said, but just diving into projects, farming stuff that is actually interesting and seems like it's people would it could have, some that could have like mass adoption when the market comes back around, products that actually, solve an issue, things of that nature. But yeah, it's cool to see, like you mentioned in NBHQ. I think we have been really good about pivoting to different stuff. You can kind of tell by our most active threads that pings out. It's stuff like Fantasy Top and Abstract and Barachain, like those different threads where people are kind of just grinding. Fantasy Top I mean, shout out to everyone in Fantasy Top. They've just been doing that for forever, and that's been a steady build up of a stack as well. If you're doing good with the game theory and you're getting, I think, points towards their token or whatever, and then obviously Abstract, which you could do for free or like low cost. And grind up experience to get their token as well as whatever games are on there. Um, Tokens and items as well. And then Barachain has kind of been the yield farming place, which Banger has had some really good field reports on to kind of like play the DeFi yield game over there. So there's certainly been opportunities. And also like the trade card stuff too, which has been hot. So it's cool to see. I think that's kind of what we've always done in NVHQs. is be able to pivot to where the opportunity lies. I mean, obviously we started as a Top Shot only Discord, and then we pivoted when that broke down to just in general NFTs, and that was hot. And then we've pivoted to shitcoins, and I think we'll always continue to just find the opportunity and seek out the edge.
Yeah, good call. I mean, that's all I've been doing is just my object farms and Pirate Nation, like always. Which, actually, yeah, we can kind of get into that. Since I'm mentioning it, if you are farming Pirate Nation, season 3 ends today. Season 4, I think, is that what it is? Season 4 is beginning tomorrow or today, later on today. So, yeah, if anybody's playing Pirate Nation, for you to qualify, you need to have either a Founders Pirate or have a VIP pass active, and have farmed a certain amount of points. I could pull up the tweet actually if it helps, but I don't even know how many of us are actually still doing it. I know a handful of us are, but I'm just mentioning that because the deadline is tonight, and if you don't have at least the minimum requirements, you won't get anything for farming this season. So it's something to note. At least I'll pull it up. But yeah, that's gonna be fun to see. I mean, I think what's gonna happen is just the token's gonna dump more since that's what happens every time a new unlock happens. But hopefully with PvP and stuff, they bring in new members into the game and it does well into the future, and we can kind of find stability for a token. But with farms, it's always hard. I mean, obviously here is a little different. You're also farming proof of play token, and there's other things that are coming for this game. But yeah, I'm just putting it out there. The new season is starting tonight, and the old one is ending at the same time.
Yeah, I shared it.
Oh, nice.
I
Okay,
get it.
awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, either Ruby rank and booty or higher, 10 million plus collector points, or 4 million plus
Yeah.
social
You
play.
need
Yeah.
that plus a Fire Under Pirate or a VIP pass active, which a
Yep.
VIP
Yeah.
pass is like $10 or something, so it's not
Yeah.
that big of
Which
a
if you
deal,
buy
you
the
know.
VIP pass, you have to go in the game and to actually activate it too. So make sure you do that. Um,
Yeah, they're hard
VIP pass
to.
is like $20 or something like that for a month, or 10 bucks. I don't even know. It wasn't that much. It was like 100 something, or like 200 pirate,
Yeah,
which
so
pirate's like 10 cents
yeah,
or something like that.
it's even dropped lower than that. I think it's like at 8 cents now. It had
Yeah.
that pumped at 15 cents last week. I should have taken it, man. I knew it.
It's
I'm
like
like,
6 cents now. Yeah.
yes, I don't. I guess people are just anticipating the unlock, so it's dumping hard these last few days. But I should have not. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I see that 15 cent pump, and instead of like just dumping some of it into that, like being like, oh shit, that's a clean exit, I'm like, oh, maybe there's something coming. Maybe they're front running the market. Like, complete wrong mentality. Like, I knew someone was gonna take that exit at 15 cents, but whatever. It is what it is. We keep grinding. We see what happens.
Yeah, they're launching PvP
Yeah.
mode, which is they've already had PvP, but it was like private. You had to like create your own games, but now there's actually matchmaking with this new season, and they're gonna do 10 million pirate in prizes, which 6 cents is like 600K um worth of pirate in prizes. Which is pretty good. Um, looks like there's a explainer video in this under this tweet in this thread too.
Yeah, just to touch on what JD's asking, how do you activate it through though in game? Yeah, I had a hard time with that on one of my alts yesterday.
Go to
It takes a
your
while for it to show up, but eventually you'll refresh and it'll be in your inventory, and then you can just click it and activate it through your inventory itself. But yeah, I found that it takes time sometimes. Like I refreshed and waited like 15 minutes yesterday, and it was just not showing up. I think it's a more of a UI bug than anything, but if it's not there, you can't use it.
Yeah, that's true. That happened to me as well. I like came back in like half hour and it was finally there or something like that. But it wasn't
Yeah.
there right away.
Oh man, I was looking everywhere. I remember the first time I did it too. I was looking far and wide, couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, what the hell? Where does this go? Does it go to like a special inventory slot or what? And then finally, someone explained to me that I just needed to wait and refresh and whatever, all that bullshit. But yeah, no, same thing happened to my alt now. You still playing regularly, Jake?
No, I have not been. It got more complicated, and so it started taking more time every day. I like didn't really see and it felt like the reward was less as well. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I kind of
I
just
still do
stopped.
my gauntlets. That's all I do. I didn't want to start like grinding all of the missions and everything. I just figured, I have enough pirates. I think I'll just use those and and Founder Pirates should be getting something all the time, and that's it. But other than that, yeah, just concentrating on my abstract farms really, like my Gigaverse and same as last week I was saying, Gigaverse roach racing, doing some myriad bets that you can do just on with points. Really, you don't need to really put any money in there. You just farm it with points. I mean, if you want to put money, you could, but there's not even that much to really bet on. For those that don't know, myriad is like a poly market where you pick a side, whether something will happen, yes or no, and by you know what I mean, like things like that, and you bet on your side, and if you win, you win a portion of the funds that were deposited into the contract. And yeah, I just been doing that, just grinding whatever I could, hoping for at least an airdrop. I mean, it's airdrop season, right? Where I don't mean it's actually airdrop season, where airdrops happen every time. I mean, it's more like you have nothing better to do, so why aren't you farming some airdrops? And that's kind of where I'm concentrating right now. And yeah, that's it. Just doing that. Hopefully, it works out. The weekly points are given every Tuesday at 12 Eastern. So you still have time if you want to get some XP for this week. It's not that hard. Just go on Abstract, on the portal for Abstract, and just like you can start by just upvoting every single thing you see and just clicking through different games, and you know what I mean. You can do it very low cost or no cost at all, and you can still get points. So whatever, why not do it, right? It's just gonna take you a few minutes anyway every day, or not every day, every week, a few minutes every week. And yeah, you can get as complicated with it as you want. Like there's people in here streaming and farming their own points in their own way and really getting deep into the abstract streets. But you can also do it very light, like just click around, and you'll do better than people that aren't doing anything. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do it for so long. Maybe I'll do it today.
Every week I hear this.
I know, but I've
Uh,
been busy. I had to do tax stuff all weekend. Um,
yeah, that's a mess.
um, yeah, is what it is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You're doing
Actually,
exactly like you're keeping you're keeping an eye on the market and you're staying sort of active, but you're doing other stuff. What else are you gonna do? Like you're obviously taking care of your personal stuff now that it's quiet. I mean, when it gets crazy around here, there is no time for all that. So I understand it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are doing the same thing.
um, yeah. You want to talk NFTs?
Let's do it, man. I've been waiting for this. Been waiting for this. Bored apes at 15.5 ETH. Sure, ETH is only worth $100, but one ETH is one ETH. No. This is crazy. I mean, it's the board apes have been running. Like we had 20 sales in the last hour or so, and people are just picking up nice ones again. They're you know what I mean. We're seeing some really nice activity again on board apes, and that's usually a good sign for the overall NFT market. They were just bleeding forever and barely getting any sales every day, but still sitting at a decent floor. And now we're actually seeing some action. We're almost at 16 ETH. I mean, I haven't seen this in a long time. A lot of us still think 16 ETH is pretty low for apes. Like I'm hoping to see them much higher soon. But it's fun. You're seeing people choose like kind of flock back to NFTs. You saw a few different projects do really well and have some big sales in the last week or two. So it's cool. I think people are starting to go back to their roots because they're bored. Kind of like we even saw last cycle where coins are sideways or they're down. What else are we going to do with our money or our time? You know what? Let's buy some NFTs. Sure, it's not at the same scale as what we saw last cycle, but we're still seeing some action there, which is cool. Bored Apes, even Pudgies have gone over 10 ETH again because of their ETF news a couple weeks ago. And we're seeing Doodles get some sales because of the announcements they had on their white paper. I mean, they had like I was saying in chat, but they had pumped up to like 3.3 ETH and sagged back down to 2.8 over the weekend. Pranksy had a couple of big sales on NFTs, but per his announcements, I think he's just getting out of NFTs entirely for now and just holding some crypto and doing other stuff. Like I saw him posting about Pokemon also. He was ripping cards on stream and stuff. So people are pivoting away, but they're still keeping an eye on the market. And at the same time, we're seeing activity in NFTs, which is fun. Like, I mean, I think deep down, we're all hoping that we see an NFT bull run. Even if a lot of us are not even holding NFTs, that's where we found most of our success, and we're ready to flip them as the market comes, right? So it would be nice, man. I mean, we'd all feel very good in an NFT bull market, I think.
Uh, yeah, I'm still skeptical, but because everything else is shit right now.
Yeah.
But I can see it from side of like um there's been so much shit that's pumped, and like the whole narrative was like basically coming into this cycle was like nothing like matters anymore. And like might as well just gamble on meme coins and everything else. And then those have obviously tanked a ton, and now it's like maybe all right, well might as well gamble on like proven art and projects and like communities. So maybe that's the real maybe that's like the narrative that could push an NFT season again. I thought you had a good point on. I think you said this earlier, and I saw OGD Farmer say something similar as well about apes specifically. But I think this applies to a lot of collections that when you start seeing the floors, like actual like the worst traits on the floors and not like some quality ones on the floors, that's a good sign that it's likely that the floor starts creeping up soon just because people are actually buying the quality floors first, just so that represents demand, even if the price hasn't moved yet, and then the floor thins out a bit, and then you can actually start seeing the price jump up a bit. Like for instance, the crazy eyes trait,
Yeah,
were like all on the floors, like in the past day for apes, and then the floor started moving up.
I think the post served as an indicator for people that knew that market, and they're like, "Wait a second, that is a good indicator." They're like, "Crazy eyes on the floor? That means the good ones are getting bought up. Holy crap, I'm missing the train here!" And they all went to start buying good ones. Like it's settled down a little bit now, where crazy eyes aren't just the floor, but that I think that's sort of like a good indicator to people because anybody that's traded apes knows that like they were all on floor at one point. They're like the most undesirable trade, and people were only buying them to flip them, and they were hard flips even then. And I think that actually really served as an indicator. Even when I saw that post, I'm like, man, that's such a good thing to look at, man. I think we're about to see a move, and look at that. We wake up the next day and they're flying. So it was funny to see that. It's funny what kind of indicators we make for ourselves in the NFT marketplace. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty
Um,
skeptical too in a way because you see the rest of the market's just red. It's just the ETH NFTs are doing okay. Some of them we're seeing pockets of activity. Like it could just you never know by tomorrow it might just come back down, right? When it comes to abstract NFTs, things are holding up because they have utility behind them. A lot of them are. Some of them that were just like PFPs are kind of down a little bit. Um, but so I mean now those that are holding really well, there's not crazy volume on them either, but I mean, there's volume. I mean, people are buying them up and to play whatever game. Like Gigaverse ROMs are doing okay. They're above mint. The Genesis Heroes for OCH are doing well. Like that's healthy. It's been a healthy ecosystem. I guess same thing for Bera. They're kind of sagging a little bit the prices there, but still decent. I mean, there's decent volume still there. But yeah, the only one that's taking a massive beating right now, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, and everybody thinks it's going to recover, is the freaking Ordinals, man. Ross mentioned it in chat. I was going to mention this too, but Taproot Wizards, they sold out at point 0.2. Some people even bought them up on the Dutch auction at over point 0.3 Bitcoin, and they're down to point 0.15. People are just getting out of there. Like, I think there was only a handful of sales that were really above mint, and most of them, if any, will be the people that are making profit on this, and this is always a disaster, were the people that got it for cheaper because they held a cat, right? So like look at the cats. They dumped to point oh 0.05 when everything released. So man, that's a huge dump. They were at point 0.12 Bitcoin last week. And now that everything came out, that's it. Taproot Wizards are going down. Quantum Cats are dumping hard. It's just been brutal out there. But yeah, Ross, what's up, bro? Are you in here? Give us your side of things, man. I know you're dying to talk about this, so give us your takes, bro.
Yo. Yeah, I mean, for Taproot Wizards, I just think that that was wrong time of the market. Like, I was just kind of surprised, and it really seemed like it was a final cash grab before things potentially get worse. I mean, you can just see all of crypto and just like I think the broader economy and markets, it's just a lot of uncertainty. So, Udi for a long time was talking about Udi. This is the founder of Taproot Wizards. For those not aware, but he was talking about them needing to have certain protocols brought back to Bitcoin and all of these different things we were waiting on for ordinals. And I mean, the market spotlight really left Taproot Wizards, or sorry, ordinals. Like if this had come out when puppets were at point 0.4, I definitely think Taproot Wizards would have like a 1 Bitcoin floor, potentially way higher. So for them to come out with just the market on its last legs, to me, just said, yeah, they want to get the cash before the opportunity is fully gone. Um, but I mean, I really do think most of the volume you saw on secondary was just Udi taking the mint revenue and then just sweeping the floor to prop it up. Like it very briefly went above point 0.2. People were kind of like, oh, just watch. But, here it is today at 0.16. So not really sure what to expect at this point. Seems like minters are not going to be in a good place. It's very unfortunate, but I mean, we've definitely seen this before where people just come out with like predatory mint prices. I was kind of shocked that after making people hold 2 quantum cats or whatever else, it was such a high mint price. But yeah, personally, I just don't really see the bull case there. I think you need to look at larger signs of life or volume coming into ordinals, runes, whatever else, and it's just not there. So I just don't really see Taproot holding up super well over the next coming weeks. And then the other issue is just if Bitcoin does explode, let's say it goes to 100K or 200K, I don't know too many people who would rather be holding a digital asset over just straight up Bitcoin at that point. And that's where I think it made sense to a certain point, especially, obviously WAF and I had boss dogs and ordinals were red hot for months and months. But if it does reach those crazy figures, I just don't know who's going to be like, yeah, Taproot Wizard, let me put, zero point 0.2 Bitcoin on that if that becomes 40 grand. It just doesn't really make sense at a certain point. We've seen that kind of dynamic with NFTs before as ETH moved higher, and stuff would sort of fall in ETH terms and then eventually kind of found that balance. But there's just so much uncertainty right now. I think it's not the proper climate for ordinals to do well.
I agree with everything you said, and it's a shame. I know people in here got hurt, and I'm really sorry that happened. Like, I mean, I know a lot of us tried to have conviction in them because of past performances and because the cats were so high, and whatever reasons. There was some decent traits that taproots were waited for so long. People even on Twitter, like I personally didn't understand this, but one day everybody was like shitting on them. The next day you have even the biggest influencers or people that we respect, not just the influencers, but also people we respect, trying to get a taproot wizard whitelist to pay 18 grand for these things. And I'm thinking, man, what the hell's going on here? Like, it doesn't feel like the right market for this, but at the same time, people that a lot of different types of people on Twitter, we're chasing them. So I don't know. It just felt a little weird to me, and I felt like they threw us off with that because I'm sure if a lot of them didn't back this project, even on Twitter, we would have all shrugged it off and not even minted. But we saw that there was a little bit of hype on the timeline, and a lot of people kind of got caught up in that. I almost did. I was thinking to myself, man, that like this mint might do well. Like I started really like considering it, but then I told myself, nah, man, that guy's pulling a straight, he wants to just collect funds. Like he missed the boat, he messed up his funds, and he's looking to collect a big amount of money in the wrong market. And that's kind of why I stayed out in the end. I stuck to my horses, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna make a mistake here, and I didn't go in. And again, I really don't. I feel bad for everybody that did get hurt. I see why you did it, and you know what I mean. You thought it'd be a good flip. I get that. The market is not cooperating at all with people who are trying to make money on ordinals right now, and it's just been brutal, man. It's been a disaster, really. Sad to see. I'm still holding a bunch of ordinals. I'm down heavy on a lot of them. Like I still have a Bitcoin puppet, a Node Monkey, and even a Pizza Ninja, and I've been waiting for these things to recover, and it just feels like it never will because we're kind of stuck in a trap where even if Bitcoin pumps, nobody's gonna want to give up their Bitcoin for JPEGs. It's the only ecosystem where you won't see that. You don't see people wanting to get rid of the Bitcoin. They're trying to accumulate Bitcoins. So all these should have been used as tools to get more Bitcoin, and a lot of us kind of got a little too bullish on it, thinking, "Oh, it's Bitcoin's ecosystem." So, I think this is a good hold, even if it's a JPEG, and it's just not the same. It's not like an ETH at all, where there's so much ETH and people don't care to trade it and they use it as a tool. Whereas, Bitcoin is not used as a tool; it's used as to hold value. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what's just difficult about crypto is that there's so much nostalgia and so much attachment to the bags because they are pictures and art that resonate with us, where it's a little bit different from traditional stocks. But if you look at the stock market, there are periods where you just have these like small bubbles of type of stocks that do really well and then just completely evaporate off the, face of the market, basically. Like I know that a couple of years ago, SPACs were super popular, and any SPAC that was launched just did really great for a period of 4 to 5 months, and then just all of them got eviscerated, completely taken down. There was like sports betting and trading app stocks that were related to DraftKings doing well, genomics, et cetera, et cetera. There's just all these small little bubbles. So when you look at crypto, we have NFTs and you have ordinals, you have all these like little pockets of activity where people for sure were successful for a period of time. I just don't think that a small period of success guarantees that it's going to come back. And this is not me trying to doom and gloom or downplay anyone's bags. Like there's for sure always a chance that it revives and come back. We've seen it with shitcoins 1,000 times at this point. So could always run back. But I think just like in terms of surviving cycle after cycle, when you see the signs of, hey, the volume's drying up and people aren't really trading these markets as often, that's where I personally like to hit the exits. Like I am usually pretty vocal of when I think the game has been played or the juice has been squeezed for that cycle and then move on to the next one. So yeah, for a lot of these, I think just like save yourself the headache if you're able to identify those signs early. If it's this one or the next one, just sometimes getting liquid and heading to the exits is a good thing. I mean, even me with AI, right? Like I had a whole show dedicated to AI and was in here all the time preaching about it, but certainly saw after Trump coin and everything else, AI slowed down. I took losses on a lot of stuff, took profit on other, but like at a certain point, you just have to hit the exit to preserve capital. So I definitely think just a sound piece of advice is to, touch grass. You don't always have to be exposed. It's totally okay to just take your winnings or take your cash and sit on your hands. Like that's all I've been doing 2 months now is just sitting on hands.
That's a good call. I think a lot of the times what happens is that we think that we have that mindset of, oh, I think it's time to get out. This is a top, but then we overthink it and it starts creeping in. Maybe it's a little, maybe it could go a little higher. We get a little greedy, We're like, oh, maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe this is the new thing that people are into, and I'm early, and I can squeeze out a bit more. And I mean, that's when we get into to issues really, and we've all a lot of. Well, I'm sure some of us are hitting exits perfectly. I'm not saying everybody's making the same mistakes, but I could speak for myself when I say every time a new thing came out, I just held too long. I didn't sell enough, and I just kept going. And sure, I made some money along the way, but I messed up. I think everything I got into from Top Shot till now. I mean, I took money off the table, yes, but not nearly enough. Like I just played fucking. I was way too bullish on way too much stuff, and that's one thing I gotta correct. But yeah, it's okay. We're still doing okay in the end.
Dude, for sure. I mean, can never bottom ticket, never top ticket perfectly. Always going to be that hindsight bias. But like, as long as you have stuff you can hit and DCA into that you really do believe in for the long term, and just try to make your goal to like stack up other piles, that totally helps. I've also just found like making multiple wallets is really a helpful
Yes.
activity. Like when I was, trading ordinals, if I got a lot of Bitcoin, I would send that to other wallets or just put it into cash so I wasn't tempted to just be like, cool, let me YOLO a bunch of Bitcoins into expensive ordinals. Like the temptation's always there. So I definitely found multiple wallets and just kind of like forcing yourself to not go over a certain wallet value and just transfer it into a safer spot where there's less of that like trading mindset around it is just a nice like little pause for you as a trader. It might just be me personally, but it's really helped me slow down because I am totally of the mindset of like I want to always be doing something.
I'm gonna tattoo on myself stack profits, not screenshots. And that way every time people see that in the street, they're just gonna come cry on my shoulder and we'll cry together.
We got to see it, dude.
I'll be very popular at the NFT events. Oh man, yeah, good times, good times. I'm becoming the Harold meme, really. Like, just smile with eyes that are in pain. Uh,
I feel that.
yeah, Jake, man, it's bad, bro. But whatever, it is what it is. Like, I mean, think about how brutal this market is, and we're still in the end. Overall, over the years we've been here, we're still okay. We're still up, right? A lot of us. So it just sucks because we make a lot of big mistakes, but we're still alive, and we just gotta learn from them and try to do better next time.
Yeah. Trying to think of what else. Not much on the docket right now.
Ross, you're awesome, bro. Thank you for your thoughts, bro. Always very appreciated.
Yeah, guys,
Appreciate
always
it,
a
man.
pleasure. Thanks for letting me pop in, and I don't mean to take up too much of the mic or time here,
Oh
but
no, you can
one
stay up here the
final,
whole time. Yeah, you can
they
stay up here the whole
appreciate.
time. We're looking for
Um,
things to talk about today, so
I was gonna say, so one final item is just the GameStop announcement of them sort of making their own Bitcoin reserve. Obviously, Bitcoin or GameStop has been quite the controversial company for months since Rory Kitty came back, and that kind of got squished just because the CEO continues to dilute the stock. And Friday, same thing happened. They announced they're gonna start buying Bitcoin. They pretty much confirmed like we will actually be looking to buy Bitcoin. They're sitting on $5 billion. And then right before market close, they diluted shares once again for another offering of 1.3 billion. But I just think it's going to be interesting to watch. Not really sure what happens because there's obviously been just so much news about countries adopting Bitcoin. The U.S. has approval for the strategic reserve, but hasn't really purchased it. So if we see more and more companies adopt that micro strategy playbook of, hey, we're going to buy Bitcoin, offer more share offerings to raise money in cash, and then buy more and more Bitcoin, I think it's like people want to see this as the greatest squeeze setup that we've seen in recent years. I think it certainly could or have the potential. I'm not quite sure how it plays out because the whole thing is just very theoretical and crazy, but another headline of someone supposedly buying Bitcoin, if they actually do buy $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin, could be huge, could lead the way for more tech companies to just say, hey, we got a bunch of cash, let's buy Bitcoin. It'll be interesting. I mean, Apple cash on hand is like pretty much the equivalent of what MicroStrategy has in all of their Bitcoin reserves. So if more and more companies start doing it, I definitely think that could be one possible out for crypto. Is just like, if Bitcoin reclaims 100K and sends everything higher, we're going to be back in a major way. So I would for sure just keep an eye on GameStop and see how that plays out in coming weeks.
That's a good call. I'm curious if they do end up doing that, what it does to both. Like I don't know if it's even gonna affect Bitcoin. Maybe it will in a way because it's just gonna be one other company that's tacking on to. But then they're maybe GME starts trading along with Bitcoin too, just like MicroStrategy. So it's gonna be interesting. It always messes with the dynamic of the company. So, but again, what else were they gonna do? It's not like it's doing that great as a company. So anyway, yeah, good shout, Ross. It's something to keep an eye on. I saw that news and I actually completely forgot about it, and then you mentioned it in chat, and yeah, I'm glad you came up and explained it a little bit better. There's one thing we can talk about though, and that's the ethos changes. Since last week, well, since I think the 28th of last week, they changed how scoring is done, and a lot of us got absolutely freaking nuked. Like, I enjoyed seeing my name in blue, and it ain't blue anymore. And a lot of us lost like 200 or 300 points from our um from our score, and like visually it's gonna hurt. But I mean, I guess long term it might be good. I don't know, Jake. Do you have a little bit of an idea on the changes? Like I've just started looking at them now.
Yeah, they said it was you no longer can earn credibility by having your reviews or vouches upvoted. So that was a big one that everyone was just upvoting each other's vouches, and that was a pretty easy way, or in reviews, and that was a pretty easy way to stack up your score. And then it's your X account and Ethereum account age reduced to just +5 possible extra credibility points, which I think a lot of us who had Twitters open for a long time and used a ETH address that's been around for years now, that hurt as well. And then credibility earned from the person who has invited you has been reduced by 75%. I like that one the most because I think that shouldn't really matter because a lot of people just wanted to get an invite. They didn't really care who they got the invite from. I think it matters more the person that you're giving an invite to. Like your score, I feel like should be affected by who you invite. So like it's actually tied to quality people, whereas so like you are like I guess the decision maker a bit more and more careful on who is tied to you, whereas people who want an invite just like want to get on the platform, like want to have access. Um, so the person that invites them, in my opinion, shouldn't matter too much. Yeah, but yeah, it was across the board. I mean, I got nuked like crazy too. Everyone did, uh, by a good amount for the most part. I think I mean, I'm not too upset with it. I mean, when everyone's score goes down, then it doesn't really matter if
Yeah,
like your
exactly.
individual score goes down. To be honest, I think people are overreacting for sure. Um, it just doesn't. People just don't like seeing their number go down, even though it affected everyone. But Yeah,
They
I
didn't
don't
like
know.
see the
It's
color
I think
change.
they're solid. I think they're solid. I think they made sense in general, so I don't really have a big issue with it.
I think so too. I think they needed to do it because it was getting a little too crazy, and people were just it was inorganic, right? We were just upvoting for points. So I'm kind of in line with you. At first, I was like, man, what the hell? How come I got nerfed? But then I noticed it was everybody, and I calmed down a little bit. And yeah, it just sucks. I lost my blue color. That's all I worried about. I'm like, it looked good on the timeline when you had the blue circle and nobody else did, or some people did. So got to work on that again, but it shouldn't be too hard. I mean, in the end, it was a really good change. It's for the longevity also, and for the credibility of people on it. So it's just a little bit of a balance thing that they did, and I'd rather them do it now than at the end. So let us just have that as the new normal and grind from here, I guess. But yeah, thanks for the rundown. I wasn't sure of all that information, and I'm glad you brought it up. If you guys need more information, obviously we have our Ethos Network thread, so you can always pop in there and just scroll through. We have all the info there. I don't have much
Um,
else. Do you have anything else, Jake?
well, I know you want to talk about Gunzilla, right?
Oh right, yeah, I thought we talked about it already. You're right. So Gunzilla, bit of a bit of an odd situation. They came out, they launched today, right? And I think it was already known that the validator nodes that we bought and people paid for, they weren't going to get anything yet. I'm not even sure if they have an initial unlock. Probably not. I think we only get from farming, right? When the nodes are operating, then we get rewards. Jake, is that it?
I don't know. I'm not in that round, so
That's what it. Oh, I thought
I'm
you
not
were
really
in.
paying
Okay.
attention to it.
They did have a little bit of FUD though today because even Grail.eth posted something that looks like people that actually bought in on the pre-sale round years and years ago didn't even get their tokens. Everything got rebalanced right before, um, right before the information. Sorry, I'm reading through here, but right before the tokens got launched, apparently they just rebalanced everybody. And I don't think a lot of people even got their tokens paid out yet, their initial unlocks. So a bit of FUD there, but I guess longer term the coin's gonna have a better floor now because nobody can sell. We'll see. I think yeah, I need to read through these. I just got wind of these
The
threads
other one,
now.
the one Shaggy
Yeah,
posted, that was the one I saw earlier too from Grail.eth. Like that's important context. Basically saying, I mean, the big note is the node people who were like a big part of that sale, obviously didn't get anything. In terms of the initial TGE, I'm not sure when those start. You know if they've said that. Again, I'm not really following that one that closely. I guess seed investors and strategic investors, which were different than the node sale, they did get a small unlock. And right now it's only 6% of circulating supply. So very low float, high FTV launch. And I think it's saying most of it is a lot of it is like I think there's a Binance launch pool as well, which is a good part of it. So yeah, so essentially I mean it's probably gonna go down quite a bit as there's more unlocks.
I will give one piece of alpha though for people in here that probably don't realize it, but we can sell our if you bought with us the nodes and stuff, you can go on the spring.net marketplace and you can try to sell them for 1.3 to 1.5x right now if you feel like you're going to lose on your nodes. So you can try to list them and see how it goes, and maybe someone scoops them up for you off of this hype. Maybe some people are happy that it's finally launching and they want to buy the nodes. But right now on the spring market, there's a buy and there's an order book basically, and you can try to get something out from your investment and sell it on there if you really look to get out. So I think that's probably the best course of action for those that think this is going to go down from here and they don't think they're going to make good money on nodes. Personally, I think I'll just hold and see what happens because I think the game's going to do well. But I mean, you have that option, and I think it's an important one to consider if you feel like you overinvested, or if you feel like you probably made a mistake by investing, or you have those exits. And I think that it's important to consider them if you want.
GM.
GM, bro, what's up?
Oh, finally, my mic works. It's good hearing you guys, man. It's been a minute since I've been able to catch a live show. I've heard your takes on so many different things, and I just pretty much agree with most of them on this Gunzilla in particular. I didn't invest in it, but I think I don't know, man. Next year you got Grand Theft Auto coming out. I don't know how well this is gonna do when it's all said and done. I just not really particularly bullish on Web3 gaming, but I guess we'll wait and see. I just wanted to touch base on like some of the Bitcoin stuff you guys are talking about, especially like Taproot Wizards. Um, that was a terrible mint price in my opinion. It was just like max extraction. I mean, that team raised like 30 million prior to that mint, so they took like another 30 million with them. And like what Ross was saying, Udi like basically swept the floor, kind of like everybody knew it. It was kind of like an open secret, and that pumped the price to like 0.22, 0.23, and now it's back down to 0.15. Um, Really, there's no catalyst in this market. I think once we get this tariff stuff kind of figured out and situated, then maybe we'll see something run up. But I think for now, I have a sense that Bitcoin has decoupled from the rest of the crypto market, and people just want to hoard Bitcoin, like similar to gold. And when you have something like Solana down in the 120s, it doesn't really make anyone want to speculate on anything even like lower than that, in my opinion. So I I think there's a possibility like this bull market is over, and I hate to say that, but I think there is a possibility about that. We've been making lower highs and lower lows, so I can see like maybe Q4 we bounce back or something, or maybe when the tariff stuff is done, like maybe like we Trump kind of just backs away from it and like just declares victory and lets the market be. But outside of that, I think there's a real chance that this bull market is over.
Yeah, I could see that happening. What I will say on that though, and what I think might happen is the bear market will be shorter. I don't think we're gonna have a 3 year bear market. If we do go into a bear market, I think it might just be shorter. I think this bull run might be, it could be. This is totally possible where the bull run might be over, and this is just like what we see all the time, where shit just bleeds for months. But I have a feeling that it might not last 2 or 3 years bear like we usually see. I think it's gonna be like maybe, you know what I mean, maybe a year, maybe less. Maybe by next year we'll be stable again and pumping again and find reasons to be bullish. But yeah, it's definitely in the realm of possibility, man.
Yeah, this is probably like the worst bull market of all time. I just think it got derailed by pumping too hard too soon, and then like the new administration coming in, where we all thought it was so bullish, but then they came out with pretty much a lot of bearish things. There was mass extraction on all the scams. It was crime season, so a lot of money left the space, and now we're caught in a downtrend, unfortunately. So yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think a bear would last too long, but you know what? 2026 could be pretty bearish.
Yep. I agree. Brawler is asking. Sorry, Waf. Just to come back to this for a sec, because I wrote in chat that you need to KYC to use this platform and buy and sell on Spring.net. Well, for some of you that are not aware, Based VC dropped all their investments. CityCap dropped their investment with Based VC is what I mean to say, and CityCap went over to Spring, and that platform requires KYC. But what's happening right now with our tokens is they're gonna get automatically dropped into our ETH wallets. So you won't need the KYC. From what I gather, you don't need the KYC to collect your tokens. But obviously, if you want to use their platform to buy and sell anything on their platform, they're requiring KYC. So that's just something you need to know. I think we're kind of like in a gray area right now. We would have loved for it to stay KYC. We had no control over that, right? Where Base VC would have sold out, or City Cap would have sold out of their investment and shipped it over to another company. So it's just a shitty situation. I found it really weird that they did that, but that's just what it is. At least our tokens will be able to receive them without KYC directly into our wallet airdropped. But when it comes to using the platform and wanting to sell your nodes, unfortunately, that you're gonna have no choice to do that, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, good shots. Yeah, love hearing your voice again, Waf. Always appreciate your takes, dude. It's I don't know. I don't really know what's gonna gonna happen. Honestly, it's been so. There's been there's a lot of uncertainty from a macro perspective. There has been, I feel like, a lot of foundational things for crypto that's pretty beneficial for the long term, though, in terms of regulation and the ease of banks being able to participate in crypto again, and the less scrutiny from companies from like towards the SEC towards companies, I should say, like dropping all their lawsuits against them, and companies have more freedom, and like the whole Trump saying obviously U.S. wants to be Bitcoin capital of the world, and so there's been a lot of good things, I would say, in terms of foundationally for crypto. Certainly hasn't reflected in the price yet, but I feel like it gives us at least like a solid, like Jinzo was saying, I feel like it gives us a solid floor at least. If macro does turn to shit, I feel like crypto has a good chance to be the first one. When we do bounce, crypto has a really good chance to be like the first one to bounce, and bounce pretty hard as well.
I agree. All the bullish like elements are there. Like there's no doubt about it. But when there's like bullish news after bullish news and the market kind of doesn't react positively to it, I think those were probably the early indicators that we were going to pull back. And again, I think we just can't really underestimate the crime season that we witnessed, right? Like I think there's mass extraction that happened in the space, and it's really just PvP out there right now, right? There's not really many people like actively on chain anymore, right? And then you have your institutional investors kind of like finally dipping into Bitcoin, and what better time to get in when the price is going down, right? Like they don't want to get in at 110, but at around 80 or even down to like 70, right? We could go back to potentially the where we were at most of 2024, which is in that like 60 to 74k range, right? Like it wouldn't be surprising to see like one final, call it, capitulation, dip into that price area before some kind of recovery. But even here, like if we move back up and we bounce back up to like 93 and we don't go past 93, then it's kind of like a dead cat bounce, and I just think it's another lower high, and it's just more like it's like stuff you just don't want to believe, but it's right there in the chart, right? And I'm typically not bearish. I think you guys know me as like pretty much as like a perma bull, but I think this time around I'm not really that bullish.
Agreed, man. Weird times, and summer's coming up. We have 1 or 2 months before May, and you know what happens in May. Like it's not even just a myth. And them selling May and go away is fucking real, bro. And it's just like when in December everybody sells. Those are the 2 months I'm always worried about, and we're almost there. So what really do you want to do for the summer? It's not like we're gonna be at all-time highs in the summer. I really doubt that, right? Like, Waf, you've been trading forever. How's May and June, bro?
I feel like I've probably been here like 2-3 years with you, Jinzo, and we've always talked about selling in May, and then we didn't do it, and then it never fails. It always goes down. It just
All
literally
the time.
never fails.
Yeah, you need to sell in April, really, because everybody's front running it. But I mean, just in general, even crypto markets, stock markets, whatever it might be, they always dump for their, or mostly always, like they take hits, man, and it's something to keep in mind because already the markets are not too great. And can we see another 20% drop from here? Yes, we can, and it might happen sharply, like we saw a couple years ago. So I don't know, man. It's tough times.
I mean, really, these tariff talks, it's just really misguided in my opinion, because I get like there's like these unfair tariffs coming back to the US, but it's kind of like the way the system was set up, right? Like our number one export is basically dollars, right? So we export dollars and we get tangible goods for pieces of paper, and now we're trying to like really like change the game, and it doesn't work that way, right? So like why do we want to like reindustrialize America? But that will also mean de-dollarizing the world, right? So you can't have both, in my opinion. So I think like we kind of made our bed, we need to lay in it, and if we're trying to change the game now, it's going to be like max pain. And I just don't think at the end of the day, that the administration is really going to go through with it, because it honestly it makes no sense. Like, why make something in the U.S. when it costs that much more to make it here? It just really doesn't make any sense.
Yep. I've been saying this for a while, and I think it's just gonna eventually we're just not gonna have tariffs. But it's just so much bullshitting back and forth to try to strong arm and to scare other countries. And like, again, not to get into political talks, I don't want to at all. But I just think that tariffs are made for that. It's just, if he puts them, the guy ruined everything, right? So I don't know. I just feel like they keep pushing them and they keep using them as threats and blah blah blah, and uncertainty keeps going, like, keep going up. So I don't know where we end up, but it's just been really 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 a mess. It's just on every front there's just instability, whether it be on the military front or on the trade front or the economical front. Everything is a complete mess around the world, and it's just, and I think a lot of it can be fixed if that just gets resolved, that whole situation with the economy and with the tariffs. And I think that will just like start cooling a lot of it down, and I just can't wait for it to be over. Really.
Yeah, I agree. I think it starts off as a bluff, and then you just start taking it a little bit too far. And then at some point, like, the river card comes, and like, you got to show your hand, right? And everybody knows what hand we got. So, I mean, like, let's stop playing this bluff, in my opinion. And Jinzo, you're in Canada, so let me ask you this, because I did see like something related to this, where there's like apps now in Canada that tells you like what products are American and which Canadian products are sort of like the replacements, and people are like actively boycotting like American goods. So I think there's like this additional blowback that has not been accounted for by the U.S. administration, where you're getting everybody like patriotic and feeling nationalistic, and there's gonna be like repercussions for, like, honestly, like talking tough to all these countries, like, without thinking that there's not going to be any repercussions as a result of that. I think there could be some unintended consequences coming down the pipe, as a result of that too.
Been a complete mess in Canada, I'll tell you, from top to bottom. A lot of them are, just speaking on travel and on exposure to the US. Everything's down across the board. There's, I think, 15 or 20% less travel to the States from Canada. People are boycotting the US. At first, I thought it was never going to happen, because I figured people like to travel and they like to go there. But yeah, people are taking it seriously. The government talked about boycotting Canada, and I dropped a lot more than I thought. I saw some statistics yesterday that actually really surprised me. Or across the board, people are buying less products from the States. And yeah, just in Canada, 15 to 20% less of everything is being used from the States, and they're boycotting it heavy. And not only that, like, even when it comes to just companies that rely on the United States. Like, I have a friend that works at a manufacturing company. He basically makes parts for military aircraft and for aircraft and whatever. And they're about to shut down. They're gonna just because of tariffs and how it works, and they don't know what's going on and how much they're gonna have to pay for their material and just to ship things back out. They might have to shut down. They're trying to rebalance their whole basically business, and they think they're just gonna have to close in the end. And even me, like, I'm seeing a lot of people being hesitant to buy anything at all, even when it comes to just goods in Canada or spending in restaurants, because they don't know how much higher their cost of living is gonna go. When already we have a noose around our necks here. It's already very hard to survive with how things went up like crazy after COVID. So it's been really bad in Canada, and I think it's only going to get worse until we have certainty. Another side of it that people don't realize is that there's a lot of profiteering happening where, let's say now a Canadian company notices that to bring in products from the States, everybody's tariffing and it's 25% more. Well, they're not going to just sell you everything at regular price. They're also going to pump up their price, even if they're local. As in, let's say if I'm buying a steak, a beef from the States, and it's costing me $10, well, now it's gonna cost me 13. Well, guess what? I'm gonna be paying 12 or 11.50 in Quebec. So they're all upcharging because of the tariffs, even here. And a lot of people are doing just like with COVID, when everybody started over raising the prices and profiteering off it. It's happening across the board here too. So it's just adding on to the problem. Nobody's being honest and fair with it. You know what I mean? Everything I see, even me, I've ordered some stuff from the States, and now I'm getting all kinds of letters from the companies saying, "Oh, we're gonna have to charge you tariffs," even though there's nothing concrete yet on tariffs. They're all upcharging to bring in your your mail or whatever just to be preventative. But in reality, they're not going to give it back to you if there's no tariffs. They're just going to take that money. So it's been very, very messy, and I'm sure other people in chat could talk about this too. But yeah, not to get too long-winded with it, we're feeling it, and we're feeling it across the board in Canada.
Yeah, it's bad. I just hope everything gets resolved this week. I really do, because I just think at the end of the day, you're just hurting regular people like pretty much all over the world with this stuff, and it's really for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I was just gonna say not idea. I was gonna share what Sola said about even the grocery stores are warning about American goods and highlighting more than ever made in Canada stuff. That was another good antidote.
Yeah. See, I was touching on that, and that's what I'm saying. Like they're gonna promote made in Canada stuff, but made in Canada stuff is gonna start getting overcharged. I'm seeing it already. I own a restaurant and I bring in stuff all the time, and I'm seeing it already. So the Canadian companies are taking advantage of the tariffs and they're boosting up their prices. So you're not getting any fair deals from Canada. They're using all kinds of excuses in the book to overcharge now, and it's really, really like this would be an opportunity to get people to buy more local and to have a very good healthy economy that's just local and very internalized, and they're not doing it. They're just making sure that you pay crazy amounts because now you have no choice. You could only go to them.
You need to start marketing all your food as made in Canada.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I mean, it is.
it is.
uh, yeah. At least for the short term, April 2nd is the big day. I think Trump labeled it like Liberation Day or something when all these reciprocal tariffs are supposed to go into effect. Obviously, he could delay or he could get rid of some, or who really knows what's going to happen before then. But that's just in 2 days from now on Wednesday. So certainly would pay attention to the news around what actually happens. Who knows at this point?
I also wanted to. I'm kind of surprised you jumped over this, but tomorrow's April 1st. Don't get fooled, okay?
Oh yeah.
Keep on your toes and stay offline for a whole day if you think you're gonna get fooled.
Um, yeah, we're past the hour mark now. Did you have anything else, or anyone in the crowd have anything else that you wanted to chat through?
I'm good there. I don't think I have much else, but if anybody else has, yeah, feel free. I think Fantasy Top is finally going. I know it was delayed, but I think they're finally. Let me go take a look real quick. It looks like the
Yeah,
tournament
Steady Teddy,
is live.
Steady Teddy tomorrow.
Yeah, Steady Teddy's whitelist tomorrow. That's a good call.
Yeah, I
That's
know. I'm pretty sure we had a whitelist in here as well as I think we had a mission as well. So there should be MVHQ people on that. So make sure to check that out. JD pinged it in time sensitive. All the winners to check your wallets.
Yeah, I was gonna say there must be a wallet checker. Good call. It's on Magic Eden too, so it should be very easy to check. He has the link there. Go ahead and check it
Yeah,
out. I'm gonna go
Bear
check
chain.
too. Yep.
Just FYI, if anyone who's using Sonic, if you try to use the bridge, it's been down, so like your transaction will be pending if you're about to use it. Just because I'm stuck on it right now, so just FYI.
Oh,
I'm getting only community first come first serve. Does anybody in here get guaranteed, or I can't remember what we had on our missions. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, check it out and see if you're eligible, I guess.
yeah. If you didn't get pinged by the roll, then you probably don't have it.
Good call.
If you look in
Well,
time sensitive, JD pinged
yeah, I didn't
the
get pinged.
roll.
Yeah, you're right. We had two different roles, so I guess one of them was from in here and the other one was from a mission, and both had different allocations. Yeah, I'm good. I have nothing else. Anybody else? And on that note, thank you for coming out, everybody. That was fun. We got to talk about a lot more than I expected, so always fun. Catch you guys next week.
Yes, thanks everyone for joining in the convo. Much appreciated.